Good morning, everybody. It's me, Lori Simpson Ortega, a host of a Victorious Life and Outreach Teaching Ministry located here in the beautiful city of Roses, Tyler, Texas. Yes, I know it's early. When your partner gets up at 4:30, and if you're not looking at the watch properly, you get up at the same time because you think it's time to roll out, only to discover, So I wanted to, so good morning. And I am going to use about 30 minutes of time. I've been here really early. So I was going to make this video anyway, but I'm going to use about 30 minutes of time. Because somebody needs to hear this. I don't know who needs to hear it, but if you know somebody who needs to hear it, please like and share it or forward it, share the link with them. I'm going to put it on my YouTube page maybe at the end of the day when I go home. But I want to share, as I do most of the time, some personal things with I just read an email that I'm like, why? But it ties in. Our Romans 8 and 28 says, and we know that all things work together for good. And I'm going to pull that up. And we know that all things work together for good. It doesn't say for the good. It says for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. And I want to expound upon just this one verse. When it says, and we know, that means we have the confidence, the assurance to not only think it, but we feel it. We have the confidence to know we have all arrived at an agreement. And when I say all arrived at an agreement, that means that as believers in Christ, not as an unbeliever, but as a believer in Christ, we all agree. We all understand, we all wholeheartedly believe that all things, all means everything, all things involved, that everything, we have the confidence. Good morning, Shu. We have the confidence, the assurance, we have the understanding, we have the tangible understanding that the intangible is going to come together. In the coming together, that means, or work together, that means even though you can't see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it, it's working. Look who made it for Turn Up Tuesday, church. I like that. Turn Up Tuesday. I'm going to use that. Turn Up Tuesday, church. Hey, give me something for every day. Inbox me something for every day in the week in case church becomes a pop-up. When we say that it works together, that means even though you can't see it, even though it's not affecting your external senses, you can feel it. You can see it. You can hear it. Those things, those external senses become internal. And when you internalize it, that's what faith is. So when Romans 8 and 28 says, and we know that all things work together for good, that means it's working. It's going to produce something that is not only satisfactory, but it is going to produce something that is to or in your best interest. So it's not just coming together to work together just to do something average. It's not just coming together to work together. It's not just your faith is not just pulling and tugging, and God is not just working on things just to say, oh yeah, he did that. He has nothing to prove. He know he has power. Okay? So your faith and your trust and your believing in him, your prayers to him, they're not just coming together just to work together. They're not just doing that. You know why they're coming together to work together? Because you love God. That means you are living your life based on, your life is being governed not by just the laws of man. Okay? If my hands represent self-governance, then you live by a higher code. God, the Spirit, governs your life. That the Spirit of God, the governance, being governed by God, trumps or means beats the laws of man. Nobody should have to put 10 commandments up in your classroom. Nobody should have to, well, you shouldn't have to walk around with 10 commandments posted in your home. Now, I haven't posted in my home because it was an antique gift that my mama, somebody gave my mother. But nobody, you shouldn't have to walk around. I got the 10 commandments out of my screensaver. Okay, why? Only heathens need to be reminded if they don't have the Spirit of God. Nobody should have to tell you. Even if they didn't have a law, don't kill. You should know not to kill. You should know not to steal. You should know you should know those things. But look at what Jesus, let's hop to the New Testament. Look at what Jesus said. He said, Moses said, if you lay up with somebody and you married to them, that's adultery. Right, y'all? And the people in the crowd, yes, say that. But look at what Jesus did. Jesus said, but I'm saying to you, okay, I'm coming to you now. If you even look at that man, if you even look at that woman, no, you are legally bound to somebody else. You stood before the church, before God, and before the congregation, and committed and devoted your life to that individual. Jesus has said, you don't have to put your hands on that other one. But if you put your eyes, and if your eyes match your thoughts that lead to the culmination of a wild imagination or fantasy, Jesus said, you've sinned. So you see what I'm saying? You've already committed adultery in your heart. So that's what I'm saying. Nobody should have to tell you that. Why? Because you live your life based on the governance of God. The Spirit is governing your life. So you live your life to a higher level, so that when the law says the biblical statutes of the commandments say thou shalt not kill, well, no, I'm not going to be out here shooting, stabbing, choking nobody, but I know I can kill them with my words. I know I can shut them down with my words. So what have I got to do? Because I love God, I'm going to guard my words, because I'm not going to try to go risk going to jail. Do you see what I'm saying? So because you love God, you are allowing him to govern your life, every area of your life. And it says to them, everybody doesn't love God like y'all think they love him. Everybody's not out here. They're just performing for y'all on Sundays. They're just performing for y'all on Facebook. They're just doing these little clips and these little blips. They don't love God. They're trying to build, some of these people on here, they are trying to build Facebook, social media personas so they can start getting paid. They don't really love God, so they are performing. Okay? Clicks, to some people, clicks matter. Likes matter. Okay? Likes don't matter when your motive is pure. You don't sit there and say, I got 500 views. Okay, unbothered. What's your motive? What's your, if that's your purpose, you're gonna come up with a strategy. You're gonna come up with the formula. But when you really love God, you live your life to a higher level. And then it says, Notice this part at the end. Who are the called? The people who are specifically called. Okay? Called by God, from God. Everything they do, they are called. It's going to work out because they're called. And what are they called to? According to his purpose. They are called based on his purpose, based on his need, based on his goal. So you've got to know, let's just put it in everyday terms now. You've got to know that whatever you're facing, whatever you're going through, you got to understand and have the assurance to know. I may not understand it. Don't know why they treat me like this. Don't know what's going on. But I've got to know that everything that he calls me to do, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's a business, everything, every thought that requires me to utilize my natural gifts, talents, and abilities, I've got to know he gave me those things specifically and uniquely. And talents and gifts is not always about singing, dancing, preaching, ministering. It's not always about that. It could be organizing. It could be decorating. It could be doing hair. It could be writing. It could be paint. Any of those things that you naturally do well. He's saying, I know you've got to understand that I've been called, meaning you got to understand it, that I know that all of these things that compile, make up the me that is me, the essence of who I am at my core, I've got to know, regardless of what I'm facing, that all of it, he's working behind the scenes. All of it is going to come together. And he's going to let me do my mixing. And he's going to he's putting it in his mixer. And I can't see it. I can't feel it. My back is against the wall. The wall is pushing against my back. Let me do it this way, grandma way. The wall is pushing against my back. And my back is against the wall. The hellhounds out, as the old people say, hellhounds are at my front gate. Hell is knocking at your door. Confusion, depression, anxiety, stress, worry, anger, bitter, all those things are knocking. But what is God doing? He's over there mixing it, y'all. He's taking all of your good. He's taking all of your bad, and he's mixing it. And you know what? You know why he's mixing it? Because you love him. You love him. Even in all of those negative things, the depression, the anger, the bitterness, the confusion, the stress, the worry, you still love him. So he's over there mixing it. And you can't see the hand that's mixing it. But guess what it's doing? It's working together. He's mixing it. And he's doing it because he loves you. He sees your frustration. He knows your anger. He knows those people are out to get you. He knows they're plotting behind the scenes. He knows they're doing things purposefully to you, that they're being petty. He knows that. He knows they're being petty. He knows they're trying to, add things to your load unnecessarily because they can't. They're trying to break you. It's not in your mind. They are. They're trying to break you. They're trying to turn you into the victim. Okay, they're trying to turn you into a victim. But you got to know that you're the winner anyway. Every day you wake up, yeah, I won. Even before you get out of the bed, I'm the champion. Champion right here. Why? Because he's working all things to your benefit, to your good. It's going to be above and beyond anything that you can do. Man's average is average. It's sufficient. God's good is amazing. God's good is wonderful. God's good is mind-blowing. Mind-altering. It's beyond anything that you can notice. The book of Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him, not you, not now unto you. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask and or think, according to the power that worketh within us. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. So I just wanted to come on here and encourage somebody and to provide clarity to whoever needs it. Stop worrying about all of this stuff. Stop stressing. God's working. It's going to work out. All I need you to do is just to continue to have faith in those darkest, bleakest moments when you feel like, Lord, what's the use? And I'm going down. That's your finest hour. That's when you say, Lord, I don't understand. I want to throw my hands up. That's when you come clean. You confess. I want to throw my hands up. I want to walk away. But you know what? I trust you. I can't see it. I can't feel it right now, but I trust you. May not understand it right now. My heart is heavy right now. My heart is broken right now, but I trust you. I've been riding and rocking with you this long. I trust you. I trust you. My end's not meeting. I'm living, like they say, Friday. You get paid on Friday instead of check to check. Check to Monday. I heard a lady say that before you got paid Friday. Check to Monday. Lord, I'm living check to Monday right now. But I know at some point you're gonna open that window and I'm gonna receive exceedingly abundantly. Whatever words you gotta say to build your faith, to encourage yourself, say those things. But then you gotta put in the work. Here comes the hard part. You gotta put in the work. You've got to stop operating in your natural emotions. And you've got to first wake up and realize, wait a minute, you've got to be spiritually aware when the enemy is trying to fight you. And you've got to be spiritually aware when he's using people. And you cannot fall victim to the enemy's use of people who do not love God. You got to be hip to that. I just sat up here and read an email. It's totally unfair. It's totally. But you know what? I'm going to respond. But I'm not responding in emotion. I'm going to state the facts of, what I can and cannot do. And then I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. And if I am required to do something, then I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I can't say that I'm going to do it enthusiastically, but I'm going to do what is required. Now, when I say that, I want you to understand that I know the enemy is using individuals. I know that. But you know what I'm going to do? It's not my mission. My goal. I'm not going to fight the individual because I love God. You remember I told y'all, I live it to a higher purpose. So I'm aware of the enemy's devices. And if the enemy continues to if the enemy is piling, you feel like they're piling things and stuff is just, people are just after you, that's the enemy. It's the enemy. But you don't fight fire with fire. You know what you fight fire with? You fight fire sometime with grace. You fight fire with dignity. You fight fire with dotting I's and crossing T's. You fight fire by honoring that, hey, God put me here. He gave me this position. He gave me this job. He put me in this relationship. I'm going to fight fire with grace and dignity and sometimes humility. Sometimes you have to fight fire when other people are treating you poorly. And you've done all you can do. Sometimes you got to take your hand off it. And you do have to match energy. Not with words, but in your actions. If they don't care, sometimes you got to fight by not caring. If they're unmotivated, you got to match energy. But you got to keep, and I'm not saying you have to do that all the time, but sometimes the spirit will say, nah, back off. You've been doing too much. They've been taking you for granted. No, you've been doing too much. You've had a ready word. No, you've been too helpful. You've been overly concerned. You have been trying to add value to that person's life. You have been trying to raise them up, set the standard for how maybe work, friendships, relationships, you've been trying to set the standard, bring them up. They've never experienced that before. And if they're fighting you the whole time, sometimes the Spirit will say, no, okay, you've done enough. Match energy. Match it. Step away. Because if you're removed from that equation, as the old people say, if they remove you from that equation, they will never receive that level of attention or care and concern. Whether, again, job, relationship, friendship, they'll never receive that again. Why? Because God put you in their life to raise the bar. So if they mistreat you, they take you for granted, they don't care, they unbothered, sometimes the Spirit will say, leave them alone. Let them alone. Let them go on. Okay? Now here's what the deal is with that. You've got to be consistent. You cannot fight people. We only have one common enemy. But when you've got to be aware of the devil's or Satan's devices, the enemy's devices. You've got to be aware he's using people. And I told that man, and he knows this and he knows that. No, don't, go take a breather. You go sit down somewhere, go in the corner and relax. Go breathe. Go speak to your spirit. Calm yourself down. That's not your fight. That's when you have remained calm, you can go and say, okay, help me understand. Why am I really needed to do this? Or I notice we've made these changes, but were you aware that this? And if they still stand with, and they get an attitude, that's when you know this the enemy. And you don't stand there, you don't start, like me sometimes, your nose start expanding now. I command my nose to stay thin. I command my nose to not flare. Sometimes I say, I command this brow to not furrow. I command this lip to not go like. I command these lines right here, stay smooth, stay smooth. I command my face to be under submission to the power of God when I have this conversation. And sometimes when you see them getting upset, that's when you say, okay, well, I understand. And then you go sit down, you go do what you need to do. But you keep a note. You keep a list. And every time they call you, every time they email you, if this is a work environment, every time they run in here, unfortunately I can't, because this is what I'm working on right now. I can't. Can you give me maybe, I can get that done, but I can't get it done right now. It's going to be about 30-40 minutes before I can get to it. But I'll make a note. And if they can't, well, I need you to do it now. Okay, sure. But okay, I'm going to do it. But all this other stuff, so you're telling me to put all these other line items. You're telling me to put those, just abandon those at this moment? Okay, well, I'm going to do that. Let me notate the time. Okay, it is 6:45, so 6:45 a.m. Let me put the time I start, and y'all start doing that. Measure your productivity. Okay, this is the time I start. So I started at 6. Now it's 6:45. So let me put these little line items right here. Date, time, worked on these 6, then called to, added this additional. Okay, so I'm going to put 6:45. Then if they have that project takes you to 8 o'clock, you come back and put completed 8 a.m. Or just put your time, 6:45 to 8 a.m. So then the next time that person runs in, okay, well, hold on. We did that last week. But why you didn't get those up? Well, that you pulled me away, and that what you pulled me to, I jotted down the time. That took me about 2 hours. That wasn't, no, because I had to go back and correct whoever did it before. They didn't follow the procedure. So, I took the liberty of correcting it and then do however you say, whatever you say, without an attitude. But do you see what's happening? All things really are working together for your good. You just can't see it. When you stop focusing on fighting people and realize, wait a minute, that's the enemy. So using the example, what usually happens? It's in the pulling away. and you're jotting your time, and you're making your list, you're organizing your day, you're organizing your time, you're becoming more productive. You're learning how to flex and pivot. All marketable skills that at some point could lead to leadership. Could lead to that. Could lead to a promotion. Could lead to a recruiter hearing about the wonderful, amazing things that you're doing, and you getting pulled away to that. Okay? So it's working together for your good. God is sharpening your skills. It's not always about removing people, laying the money in your hands. He could be teaching you better budgeting. He could be teaching you how to eat out less, cook more. He could be teaching. That's a part of that working together. Because you are guaranteed to come out better than average. Because again, like I said, God's good is not average. God's good is not sufficient. It's better than that. So when you start thinking and realizing, wait a minute, I'm not fighting this person. This person is fighting me. Before you start rebuking the enemy of that person, you got to get somewhere. And I'm telling you, I don't just say as I do. I mean, what is it? Say as I do as I say, and not as I do. No, it's say as I say, do as I do. When it comes to things like this, yes, because I've experienced that. And so you got to know when it's the enemy, but you also got to know when it's yourself. You got to know when it's like, okay, wait a minute. It's not working for me. These people getting on me. It's not working for me. It's not working for me at all. It's not working for me. And we've got to know that sometimes, instead of you sitting there fighting, you've got to be open to know, wait a minute, Lord, have I accomplished my mission? Have I met my goal? Have I reached everybody that you wanted me to reach? Is it time for me to move on? Because sometimes y'all fight these people and God is like, look, you done did your job there. It's time for you to move on. I got greater for you. It's time for you to let this fighting, let this other stuff go, let all this other things go. It's time for you to move on. It's time for you to accomplish what you needed to accomplish. The people you needed to help, they are secure, they are safe, they have moved on. And sometimes in positions, we have to realize that. Sometimes in relationships, we have to realize it's time for you to move on. If the person is taking you for granted, if they blatantly tell you, I don't care. If they blatantly tell you, I don't, and they're showing you that they don't care. They don't appreciate you. They don't, sometimes you can pray for them all you want. But when the Spirit tells you, match energy, stop, I got you. Sometimes you have to humble yourself and you just have to cease. You just have to say, hey, I got to walk away. I got to leave this. This is not what God has planned for me. This is not love. This is not building. This is not friendship. This is hurting me. This is not, I only get one chance to breathe there. It's not working for me right now. And you know what? And when you're put in that situation, anytime it deals with you moving forward and stepping away from whether it's a relationship, and relationship isn't just limited to marriage and dating and all that. It can be a friendship. It can be connections. You've got to make sure that you, in all your ways, that you acknowledge the Lord and say, Lord, is it time? Because I know people, and I know I've said this about a few posts back, and I did want to provide some clarity. I'm not against divorce. That's not my that's not my business. I'm responsible for me and mine, as the people say. I'm not against divorce. What I'm against is when leadership, when you've been married. Now, this is 2025. If I'm not telling you to stay, or I don't condone for people to stay in marriages where they are not necessarily not happy, but marriages that are not fulfilling. Okay, well, I don't care if both of y'all have Christ. If y'all can't get along, you're arguing, you're fussing, y'all need to figure out, y'all may have been unequally yoked. You got one dream, he got another dream. Y'all can't come together and make that happen. They don't want to be bothered with you. You have to pray and ask the Lord after you've done all that you can do and you've stood there, There comes a point, even if there's no infidelity involved, there comes a point where spiritually that person can become a hindrance to you. I understand that. I understand it. And I'm not here to say that I am against divorce. I'm not one of those leaders. I'm transparent. I try to be as transparent as possible. When the scripture says, let every man work out his own soul salvation with fear and trembling, every man, everybody, every individual, I'm not here to tell you what not to do when it comes to your relationships, as far as telling you, leave that man, leave that woman. That's not my place, not my monkey, not my circus. So I am not against divorce. What I am against is people who are in leadership. If you get married a first time and that doesn't work out, I don't have a problem with that. If you get married a second time and that doesn't work out, okay, if you want to get married a second time, I don't have a problem with that, because everybody deserves to be loved and to give love and to experience love, a fulfilling, nurturing, love. But if after that second time you get married and if the second one don't work out, something's wrong and you got the spirit, let's figure that. Get somewhere and sit down. Stop looking for love. You're picking wrong. Or you're presenting yourself falsely. That's what I'm saying. If you're in leadership, that's to anybody. If you've been married 3, 4, 5 times, that's a problem. Go sit down. You just want companionship. You don't have self-confidence. You need to get somewhere and learn how to be by yourself and get to know you, because obviously the you presenting is not the person that no. So I am not against divorce. I know biblically, Moses gave a writ of divorce, but when you understand that the reason he gave people, he orchestrated for a divorce was to protect the interest of the woman. Because again, and Jesus said, Moses gave you this, but Jesus is like, hey, I ain't trying to get you now. I don't want whoever y'all put together, let not man draw asunder. Okay, well, that's the problem. Some of the people, they don't need to be together. Some of y'all just look good together as a couple. Y'all don't sit down and plan. Anyway, that's a whole other lesson. Again, not my monkey, not my circus. But that's what I'm saying. So I do want to clarify that. So when I say relationships, I am speaking about marriages. I'm speaking about friendships. I'm speaking about if you're dating somebody. I'm also speaking about work relationships and being attached and joined at the hip with work. Sometimes we wrestle, we struggle on these jobs, we struggle in these positions, we fight opposition, and we know it's the enemy. And sometimes it's not for you to help those people be successful. They're going to fail because they don't love God. It's for you to be, hey, let me help encourage the people that need to be encouraged, the people that come across my path. Let me encourage those people. Let me pray for those people. Let me nurture those people. Let me say that. Let me do for those people. Now, I want to leave my last minutes. I want to leave with this example of what I'm saying. Our son, y'all know he plays club. And he loves it. He loves soccer. That is his call. That is his mission, his purpose at this point. So something had happened, and my son said, "Hey, Pastor Strange, my son, he didn't get the results that he wanted." So I said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I thought he was gonna say, "Well, that's not what I wanted, so I'm just gonna walk away." And I would have honored that, because I don't helicopter parent my children. I think when they start reaching high school, around about the 10th grade, I start loosening the rein. I don't helicopter over them, because I want to produce a individual, I want to present to society somebody that an independent thinker, a civic-minded independent thinker that spiritually solid and sound. So when they start getting in 11th and 12th grade, I simply listen to them. And when they tell me, I'll ask them, hey, are you asking for my opinion or advice? Which, or do you just want me to listen? If they say just listen, even if I have all the brilliant ideas, I just say, okay. Excuse excuse me, I just say, bless me 3 times. This must be really good, because I don't never sneeze on these, y'all. Excuse me. I'm going to say it. So anyway, so I that's how I operate. So he told me, and I said, well, what do you want me to do? And he told me what he was going to do. And I said, well, hey, you know what? I said, that's quite a dilemma. I said, but I trust that you're going to pray. I said, and remember what we always say, if it's God's plan and purpose for your life, it's going to work. So you just stay faithful to him. So, but in the middle of that, my son, before he left, he says, well, here's my plan. He said, I'm still going to keep working really, really hard, put in the effort, put in the work, and go above and beyond for myself, as I always do. And we'll see what happens. So I've watched this kid, every negative, because he learned it from somebody. I wonder who. I watched this kid put in the work. I watched this kid go practice, run, take the initiative, the discipline, even though, you know, he may not be the person that the higher up people like. He puts in the work for himself. So one time he was very down, and I said, thank you. I received that, PJ. One time he was very down, and I knew he was down about that. So I went and I said, hey, you know what? I said, I just need you to keep trusting. And I shared a story with him about this guy who was able to go, who didn't go to a D1 school, who never was selected to start in high school, never, you know, never selected for a D1. I said, but you know what? He went to a college, he played, he transferred, didn't get a scholarship to play soccer. He went to tryouts, was a walk-on, and still didn't get a scholarship that first year, but played, and then eventually got a scholarship. I said that guy ended up going on to play professionally around the world, and when he got tired of playing and wanted to start a family, he came back. So I shared with him about that. I was just encouraging him with people and stories and individuals that God had placed into his life. And I was telling him about, hey, look how that particular coach, your favorite coach of all time, was really when he was in elementary school, Coach Kevin. Actually, it was Kevin Holland, favorite coach of all times when he was in elementary. And he was, I said, and think about Coach Kevin. He said, yeah, Mom, sometimes when I'm playing, I remind myself, hey, Coach Kevin, this is what Coach Kevin would say to me when he's not hearing it from other people, and when he needs to encourage himself, even when he's practicing, or even when he's, you know, working and stuff on his own. And so he kept working. Well, he came home and he said, hey, guess what happened? And he told me, and it's working in his favor. And he said, so yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I understand when Jesus said, be like a child. Look at what that child did. Look at what my child did. How is that not inspiring to me? And how can I use that to motivate and encourage you? Sometimes you got to just keep working. You got to just keep doing you. When you realize you are not the problem, you got to keep doing you. And I'm not talking preaching or teaching a gospel of flesh, a gospel of self, but I'm saying you got to be like that, my kid. Don't lower your standard. Don't lower yourself. Keep doing you. Keep getting to work on time. Keep doing your best job. Keep speaking to these hellish people, these demons in disguise. Keep speaking to them. Keep being helpful to them. Keep being perfect. Yeah, I got to do this. Okay, I'm going to do this. Yes, Anthony, I like that. Keep moving forward. Take every disappointment. Take it with dignity. Learn from it. File it away. File it away in your what not to do when I get where I'm going. File that away. Because you know what? That's a part of that. All things working. Don't let these people stop you. Now, if you are the problem, if so many people say you have a bad attitude If the third person say you got a bad attitude, go deal with that. Get somewhere in the corner. Ask the Lord to help you with your bad attitude. And choose your words wisely. Rein your thoughts back in. But if you've done everything that you can do, then at this moment, I'm telling you, don't dumb yourself down. Those of you women that are involved in relationships where, and men, we'll say if you're trying to do everything you can do, I'm just going to say as a wife, if you have tried to do every possible thing that you can do, to you wives out there who have husbands that are not on the Lord's side, or you feel like they're taking you for granted, don't lower your standard. Don't lower your level. If he never takes you anywhere, he never sends flowers or gives you flowers or says, hey, I appreciate you, I love you, I care for you. If he never shows you affection and that's what you need, I'm saying stop relying on him. He's either not willing to give that to you or he's incapable. And if he's not willing if he's not willing to give that to you, then you're beating a dead horse. You need to get somewhere and pray and say, Lord, look, I need to reevaluate. Is this really the person you have for me? Because there's no reason for you to be operating in frustration. Those of you who are dating men and women, and not one of each, but those of you who are involved in courtships, as the old people say, and now I found myself old. Those of you who are involved in courtships, if you're always paying, if you're always the one that's encouraging, if you're always, no, move on. That's not who God, that may not be who God has planned for you. In either case, you need to ease up, match energy. And you have to be prepared that if that person comes to you and says, hey, this is not working out, don't sit up there and ask why. You know why. That's not who God has planned for you. Just say, well, yeah, I'm glad you said that because you're right. I agree. If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I've been thinking it's time for us to get divorced. I want to get divorced. You know what? Thank you for taking the initiative. Because I was trying to figure out how I was gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Leave no space for the enemy. Why you leaving me? What I do to you? Does it really matter? Because by the time it gets to that point, they've been gone a long time. They just got up the courage and the nerve to tell you. Bless God that they told you. Your job, would they come up to you and they say, hey, we got to let you go? Well, you know what? I'm glad. Thank you. Because I had started feeling like I needed to start applying anyway to other places. I think I've outgrown this. But don't sit up there and let them browbeat you. You live for the Lord. His all things are working together for your good. And sometimes, I'm going to tell you with my last words, like he told me one time when it was time to move on. He said, sometimes I've got to throw you off the boat. He said, unlike Peter climbed off the boat to get to me. Sometimes, for you to get to me, I got to throw you off the boat to get you to walk on water. Sometimes, he's got to throw us off the boat to get us to walk on water, to get us to know and fully understand Romans 8:28. Well, you know what? My time is up. Romans 8:28, that's your verse for this week. And as I always say, if you have Christ, you're already the winner. If you have the Spirit of the living God, you can face any challenge life throws your way. You can live a victorious life. God bless you.